Hello everyone, and welcome to this video. In this video, we'll be considering Bgcse Chemistry 2016, Paper 1. And notice, we have the cover page, Chemistry, Paper 1, 2016, Bgcse National Examination. Let's begin. The first question says, what is the name of a group of chemicals that speed up a chemical reaction? Is it catalysts, galvanizers, oxidizing agents, or reducing agents? The correct answer here is definitely going to be catalysts, because catalysts speed up chemical reactions without being used up. So the correct answer here is A, catalysts. Let's move on to question number 2, and it says the diagram represents a scale found on a centimeter rule. What is the value indicated by the arrow? Is it going to be A, 0.41 centimeters, B, 0.42 centimeters, C, 4.10 centimeters, or D, 4.20 centimeters? Notice, let's zoom in a bit. So notice this is 4, right? This is 4.1, this is 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, and 5. So that means, let's zoom back out. So that means that the correct answer is definitely going to be C, 4.10 centimeters. And why? Well, the arrow points to the first small division after 4 centimeters. Each small division is 0.10 centimeters. So the reading is 4.10 centimeters, or 4.1 centimeters. Let's move on to question number 3, and it says the reading on a thermometer indicates the temperature of a boiling liquid. Let's say that again. The reading of a thermometer indicates the temperature of a boiling liquid is 101 degrees Celsius. Which liquid could the thermometer have been placed in? Is it the liquid ethanol and the purity is pure? Is it the liquid methane and the purity is pure? Is it the liquid propane and the purity is impure? Or is it the liquid water and the purity is impure? So the correct answer is definitely going to be D, because impure water boils above 100 degrees Celsius, because dissolved impurities raise the boiling point. So a temperature of 101 degrees Celsius indicates impure water. Impure water. So let's move on to, so the correct answer is definitely going to be D. Let's move on to question number 4, and it says a sample of water is heated from negative 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius in a 15-minute period. How many single states of matter and how many mixed states of matter will the water undergo? Is it A, 2 single states and 5 mixed states? Is it B, 2 single states and 3 mixed states? Is it C, 3 single states and 2 mixed states? Or is it D, 3 single states and 0 mixed states? So the correct answer is definitely going to be C, 3 single states and 2 mixed states. Why? Because notice that the water is heated from negative 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. So from negative 10 degrees Celsius to 0, the water is solid, right? Because it's ice. And from 0 to 100 degrees Celsius, it is a liquid. And from 100 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius, it is a gas, giving 3 single states. So we have 3 single states right now. Now, at 0 degrees Celsius, ice and water exist together during melting. So during that time, during melting, ice and water exist together. So that's going to be a mixed state, which is one mixed state. At 100 degrees Celsius, water and steam exist together during boiling, which is another mixed state. Therefore, there are 3 single states and 2 mixed states. So the correct answer is definitely going to be C. Let's move on to question number 5, and it says, how is the number of neutrons determined for any atom? Is it A, adding the number of protons to the mass number, B, doubling the atomic number, C, equals the number of electrons, or D, subtracting the number of protons from the mass number? The correct answer is definitely going to be D, because we're trying to figure out how we're going to get the number of neutrons for an atom. Well, the number of neutrons is found by subtracting the number of protons, which is the atomic number, from the mass number. So D is our answer. Let's move on to question number 6, and it says, where on the periodic table would the element with the electronic configuration 283 be found? Is it group 2? Is it group 8 slash group 0? Is it period 3, or is it the second period and group 3? Well, the correct answer is definitely going to be C, period 3, because the electronic configuration 283 shows 3 occupied shells. 1, 2, and 3. So the electronic configuration 283 shows 3 occupied shells. So the element is found in period 3. So the correct answer is definitely going to be C. Let's move on to question number 7, and it says, in the Bohr model of an atom, how many orbits are needed to hold silicon's 14 electrons? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Well, notice that the correct answer is definitely going to be C, which is 3, because silicon has the electronic arrangement of 2, 8, and 4. So 8 plus 2 is 10, and 10 plus 4 is 14. So it's 14 electrons occupy 3 orbits in the Bohr model. 1, 2, and 3. So the correct answer is definitely going to be C, 3. Let's move on to question number 8, and it says, carbon dioxide molecules with slightly different masses have been found. Which factor accounts for this mass variation? Is it allotropes, isomers, isotopes, or states of matter? But the correct answer is definitely going to be C, isotopes, because carbon dioxide molecules can have different masses because they may contain isotopes of carbon or oxygen, which have different numbers of neutrons. So the correct answer is definitely going to be C, isotopes. Let's move on to question number 9, and it says, what is the total number? So total numbers in bold, so we have to pay attention to that. What is the total number of electrons found in a water molecule? Is it A2, B8, C10, or D18? The correct answer is definitely going to be C10, because in a water molecule, what's the formula? H2O, which means that we have 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Now, 8 electrons from oxygen. So oxygen, we're going to have 8 electrons from oxygen, and we're going to have 1 electron for each hydrogen. So since there are 2 hydrogens, we're going to have 2 electrons. So 8 electrons from oxygen and 2 electrons from hydrogen. 8 plus 2 is going to be 10, so given a total of 10 electrons. So the correct answer is definitely going to be C, 10. Let's move on to question number 10. The list below contains the names of the 4 different types of chemical bonds. Use this information to answer questions 10 to 12. The choices may be used once, more than once, or not at all. So we have covalent, dative, ionic, or metallic bond. Which type of bond is formed when hydrogen and oxygen bond to form water? Well, the correct answer is definitely going to be A, a covalent bond, because hydrogen and oxygen share electrons when they bond to form water, which is a covalent bond. So the correct answer is definitely going to be A, covalent bond. Next, it says, which type of bond is formed when the lattice structure of NaCl is formed? Is it A, B, C, or D? Well, the correct answer is definitely going to be C, an ionic bond, because sodium ions and chloride ions are held together by electrostatic attraction, which is an ionic bond. So the correct answer is definitely going to be C, ionic. Let's move on to question number 12. Which type of bond is formed when ammonia bonds with a 4th hydrogen to form the ammonium ion? Is it covalent bond, dative, ionic, or metallic bond? But the correct answer is definitely going to be B, dative, because ammonia donates a lone pair of electrons to the hydrogen ion, forming a dative coordinate bond in the ammonium ion. So the correct answer is definitely going to be B, dative. Let's move on to question number 13, and it says, what is the amount in moles of NaOH found in 32 grams of NaOH? Is it 0.8 moles, 1.25 moles, 40 moles, or 1,280 moles? Well, here we're going to use the formula. Moles is going to be mass divided by molar mass. So what is the what is the mass? The mass we have is 32 grams. So that's going to be the mass. What is the molar mass? Well, the molar mass of NaOH is 40 grams per mole. So we say 32 divided by 40, and 32 divided by 40 is definitely going to be 0.8 moles. So the correct answer is definitely going to be 0.8 moles. Let's move on to question number 14, and it says, what is the relative molecular mass of H2SO4? So we're trying to figure out what is the relative molecular mass of H2SO4. Is it going to be 3, 7, 48, or 98? And the correct answer is definitely going to be D, 98. Because if we look at hydrogen, we're going to do 2 times 1 for hydrogen. So again, 2 times 1. And then we have 32 for S. And for oxygen, we know oxygen has, we're going to do 4 times 16. So this one is representing oxygen. So hydrogen is 2 times 1, right? S is going to be 32. And oxygen is going to be 4 times 16. And so when we add them all up, so we multiply 2 times 1, which gives us 2. We add 32 plus 2, and we do 4 times 16, and we add all them up, and we get 98. So the relative molecular mass of H2SO4 is going to be 98. Let's move on to question number 15, and it says, which element can be found in the form of a diamond? Is it carbon, krypton, potassium, or silver? The correct answer is definitely going to be a carbon, because diamond is an allotrope of carbon, meaning it is a pure form of carbon arranged in a very strong crystal lattice. So the correct answer is definitely going to be a carbon. Let's move on to question number 16, and it says, what is the molecular formula of a compound with the structural formula CH3, CH2, CH3? Is it CH, 3C8H, C3H8, or CH3, 2CH2? Well, the correct answer is definitely going to be C. And the reason we have this is because notice how many carbons we have. We have 1 carbon, 2 carbon, and 3 carbons. So that's why we have C3, because we have 3 carbons. How many hydrogens do we have? Well, we have 3 hydrogens here, we have 2 hydrogens here, and we have 3 hydrogens here. 3 plus 2 is 5, and 5 plus 3 is 8. So that's why we have 8 hydrogens here. So C3H8, 3 carbons and 8 hydrogens. So the structural formula CH3, CH2, CH3 shows 3 carbon atoms and a total of 8 hydrogen atoms. So the molecular formula is C3H8. So this is the correct answer for number 16, C. Let's move on to question number 17. It says, how many moles of oxygen gas are needed to balance the combustion reaction of 1 mole of butane? Is it a half? Is it 5? Is it 6.5? Or is it 9? And so if we look here, the correct answer is definitely going to be 6.5 or 6.5. And the reason is let's look at this side, right? How many oxygen atoms do we have? Well, on the right side, there are 13 oxygen atoms. Why? We have 8 from 4 CO2. Because if you notice here, if we're focusing on the oxygen atoms, right? So we have 2 here. So this is going to be 4 times 2. And 4 times 2 means that there are 8 oxygens. So this one is going to have 8 oxygen atoms, right? So 8 oxygen atoms. Again, 4 times 2, we get 8. Then we have 5 in front here. So that means that this O is going to have 5. That this O is going to be 5. So that means that we're going to have 5 oxygen. So this term has 5 oxygens, and this term has 8 oxygens. And so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That means that we're going to have 13 oxygen atoms on the right-hand side. So if we have 13 oxygen atoms on the right-hand side, we have to have the same thing here. We have to have 13 oxygen atoms here as well. So on the right-hand side, there are 13 oxygen atoms, 8 from this term and 5 from this term. Since oxygen gas is O2, what we need to do is we need to divide 13 by 2, which gives us 6.5 moles of O2 to balance the equation. Because if we put 6.5 as X, we have 6.5 multiplied by 2, and 6.5 multiplied by 2, well, that's going to be 13. So we need, in order to find X, all we need to do is divide 13 by 2 to get 6.5 or 6.5. And if we do 6.5 or 6.5 multiplied by this 2 here, that's going to give us 13 oxygen. So we have 13 oxygen here, and we're going to have 13 oxygen here, and so it's going to be balanced. Let's move on to question number 18, and it says, what is the molecular formula of hydrogen? So let me use this right here. What is the molecular formula of hydrogen? Sorry, what is the molecular formula of a hydrocarbon with an empirical formula of CH3 and an MR of 30? So is it going to be CH3, C2H6, C3H8, or C4H10? But the correct answer is definitely going to be B, C2H6. The reason is because if we look at this empirical formula, this empirical formula has a molar mass of 15. Why? 12 for carbon, and we know that for hydrogen it's going to be 1, but 1 times 3 is 3, so 12 for carbon and 3 for hydrogen, right? So if we add them two together, it's going to be 15. So for the empirical formula, it has a molar mass of 15. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say 30 divided by 15, because we know that it says that the MR is going to be 30. It says, what is the molecular formula of a hydrocarbon with the empirical formula of CH3 and an MR of 30? So we're going to use that, right? So we know that MR is 30. We're going to divide 30 with 15. We got 15 because 15 is the molar mass of CH3. So we say 30 divided by 15, and that gives us 2. So that means that the actual molecule contains 2 empirical formula units. So every atom in CH3 is doubled to give C2H6. And how do we get C2H6? Well, all we need to do, we know that we have 2 here, right? So that means that we're going to double it. So 2 times C gives us C2, and then 2 times H3, well, 2 times 3 is 6. So it's going to be C2H6. So that's our correct answer, C2H6. Let's move on to question number 19, and it says hydrogen bromide gas dissolves in a liquid and ionizes to produce hydrogen ions as the only positive ions in a liquid. Which liquid causes hydrogen bromide gas to ionize? Is it acetone? Is it methyl benzene? Is it toluene, or is it water? Again, which liquid causes hydrogen bromide gas to ionize? And the correct answer is definitely going to be water, because hydrogen bromide ionizes only in water because water is a polar solvent that stabilizes ions, allowing HBr to dissociate into H plus and Br ions. And that means that our correct answer is definitely going to be D, water. So move on to question number 20, and it says, which statement about an acid is true? Is it that it forms water with an alkali? Is that its pH is greater than 7? Or is it that it forms negatively charged hydronium ions in water? Or is it that it is a non-electrolyte? So which statement is true about an acid? It forms water with an alkali. Its pH is greater than 7. Is it true that it forms negatively charged hydronium ions in water? Or is it true that it is a non-electrolyte? The correct answer is definitely going to be A, because an acid reacts with alkali in a neutralization reaction to form water and a salt. All right, so it does form water with an alkali. That's going to be a neutralization reaction where water and a salt is formed. Okay, let's move on to question number 21, and it says, when copper reacts with hot concentrated sulfuric acid, it produces copper sulfate. Which other products are formed? Hydrogen gas only, water and sulfur dioxide gas, or D, water and hydrogen gas? But the correct answer is definitely going to be C, water and sulfur dioxide gas, because hot concentrated sulfuric acid oxidizes copper to copper sulfate, producing water and sulfur dioxide gas as the other products. So the correct answer is definitely going to be water and sulfur dioxide gas. So move on to question number 22, and it says, which salt remains when a solution of H2SO4 is titrated with a solution of CaOH2? Is it calcium hydroxide, calcium oxide, calcium sulfate, or calcium sulfite? But the correct answer is definitely going to be C, calcium sulfate, because sulfuric acid reacts with calcium hydroxide in a neutralization reaction to form calcium sulfate, CaSO4, and water. And so here we have a neutralization reaction where we have a salt is being formed and water. So the correct answer is definitely going to be calcium sulfate. Let's move on to question number 23, and it says the table shows the colors that universal indicator becomes when added to 4 different solutions. Which row in the table correctly matches the color of the indicator and the solution? So is it going to be nitric acid and the color is blue? Is it going to be potassium nitrate and the color is green? Is it going to be sodium hydroxide and the color is yellow? Or is it ammonia solution and the color is red? Again, we're looking at the color of the universal indicator. So the correct answer is definitely going to be B, potassium nitrate. Because potassium nitrate is a neutral salt, so universal indicator turns green in its solution. So the correct answer is definitely going to be B. Let's move on to question number 24, and it says which ion is indicated by a blue-green color in a firework display? Is it Cu2+, is it Ba2+, Na+, or Ca2+? The correct answer is definitely going to be A, Cu2+, because copper-2 ions produce a blue-green color in fireworks and flame tests. So the correct answer is definitely going to be A. Let's move on to question number 25, and it says use the list of gases to answer questions 25, 26, and 27. The choices may be used once, more than once, or not at all. So we have ammonia, we have hydrogen chloride, we have C as sulfur dioxide, and we have D as chlorine. So which gas turns moist red litmus paper blue? Is it A, B, C, or D? And the correct answer is definitely going to be A, ammonia, because ammonia is alkaline and turns moist red litmus paper blue. Then move on to question number 26, and it says which gas forms dense white fumes with ammonia gas? Is it ammonia, hydrogen chloride, sulfur dioxide, or chlorine? The correct answer is definitely going to be B, hydrogen chloride, because hydrogen chloride reacts with ammonia gas to form dense white fumes of ammonium chloride. And so the correct answer is definitely going to be B, hydrogen chloride. And lastly, for question number 27, remember question number 25, 26, and 27 are based on these substances here. So it says which gas turns moist blue litmus red and then bleaches it? So it turns moist blue litmus red and then bleaches it. Is it A, B, C, or D? And the correct answer is definitely going to be D, chlorine, because chlorine first turns moist blue litmus paper red because it's acidic, right? But then bleaches it due to its strong bleaching action. So the correct answer is definitely going to be D. Let's move on to question number 28, and it says, what is the name of the process by which electricity is used to bring about a chemical change? Is it corrosion, electrolysis, oxidation, or voltage? And the correct answer is definitely going to be electrolysis, because electrolysis is the process in which electricity is used to cause a chemical change. Let's move on to question number 29, and it says, which change occurs to the ion at the anode during electrolysis? So we're talking about the anode. Which change occurs to the ion at the anode during electrolysis? So we have anode and we have cathode. Which change occurs to the anode during electrolysis? Is it reduction, oxidation, gains electrons, or gains mass? And the correct answer is definitely going to be B, oxidation, because at the anode during electrolysis, ions lose electrons, and loss of electrons is called oxidation. Let's move on to question number 30, and it says this reaction is part of the contact process. So we have 2 SO2 plus O2, and then we have 2 SO3. What happens if the amount of SO2 is increased? So that means that we are increasing this, right? We're increasing this. What happens if this increases, if this amount increases, right? Well, O2 increases and SO3 increases. O2 decreases and SO3 decreases. O2 increases and SO3 decreases, or O2 decreases and SO3 increases. But the correct answer is definitely going to be D, we're going to have the oxygen decreasing and we're going to have the SO3 increasing. And why is that? Because we increase this amount. So when SO2 is increased, the equilibrium is going to shift to the right. And so since it shifts to the right, that means that this is going to be, that means that we can have oxygen being decreased because this is going to be used up, right? So extra SO2, so let's read it. When the amount of SO2 is increased, the equilibrium shifts to the right to use up the extra SO2. As a result, O2 decreases and SO3 increases. So we're going to use up the extra SO2, and the reactant side, what's going to happen? This is going to be, if we look at the oxygen is going to be decreased, but this is going to be increased because notice here the equilibrium is going to shift to the right, right? So if we increase this particular, if we increase SO2, if we increase it, right, it's going to shift to the right to counteract that increase, right? So it's going to shift this side. And so that means that we're going to have more of this being produced, and we're going to have less of the, we're going to have the oxygen being decreased, all right? But more of this is going to, more of this is going to be produced, but we're going to have the oxygen being decreased. So the correct answer is definitely going to be O2 decreases and SO3 increases, all right? Let's move on to question number 31, and it says, what is a change in concentration of either a reactant or product over a period of time called? So change in concentration of either reactant or product over a period of time. What do we call that? Is that reaction rate? Is that reactant concentration, product concentration, or state change? But the correct answer is definitely going to be A, the reaction rate, because the reaction rate is defined as the change in concentration of a reactant or product per unit time. So the correct answer is definitely going to be A, reaction rate. Let's move on to question number 32, and it says zinc is a less reactive than magnesium. What is the reactivity relationship between zinc and magnesium? Is it A, magnesium can displace zinc ions from zinc compounds? B, zinc can displace magnesium from magnesium compounds? C, magnesium is lower than zinc in the reactivity series? Or D, zinc is a stronger reducing agent than magnesium? But the correct answer is definitely going to be A, because magnesium is more reactive than zinc. So what does that mean? Well, that means that it can displace zinc ions from zinc compounds in a displacement reaction. So the correct answer here is going to be A. Let's move on to question number 33, and it says, which of these statements does not? So keyword here is not, because it's in bold. Describe what happens during a redox reaction. So which of these statements does not describe what happens during a redox reaction? Is it A, a decrease in oxidation number, B, a loss of protons, C, a gain of oxygen, or D, a loss of hydrogen by a covalent molecule? So again, A, a decrease in oxidation number, B, a loss of protons, C, a gain of oxygen, or D, a loss of hydrogen by a covalent molecule. So the correct answer is definitely going to be a decrease in oxidation number, because oxidation involves gain of oxygen, loss of hydrogen, or increase in oxidation number, not decrease in oxidation number. A decrease in oxidation number describes reduction, not oxidation. So the correct answer is definitely going to be A, a decrease in oxidation number. Let's move on to question number 34, and it says use the table to answer questions 34 and 35. The table shows the products formed at the anode and cathode during electrolysis. So we have compound electrolyzed molten lead bromide. So the first option is the compound electrolyzed is molten lead bromide. What product do we find at the anode? It says bromide. What product do we find at the cathode? Well, we have a lead. Here, the compound electrolyzed is potassium nitrate solution, and we have oxygen at the anode, and we have hydrogen at the cathode. And then for this one, we have concentrated sodium chloride solution, and the product we have at the anode is oxygen, and the product we have at the cathode is hydrogen. And then for D, the the compound that is electrolyzed is copper sulfate solution, and the product is oxygen at the anode and the carbon at the cathode. So, which row in the table shows an incorrect product at one of the electrodes? So we're looking for the incorrect one, the one that is incorrect, right? And the correct answer is definitely going to be C, because in sodium chloride solution, chlorine gas is produced at the carbon anode, not oxygen. So notice that if we look here at the carbon anode, we have oxygen, right? But chlorine gas is produced at the carbon anode, not oxygen. So here it's supposed to be chlorine gas, but we have oxygen here. So this would makes it incorrect. So in concentrated sodium chloride solution, chlorine gas is produced at the carbon anode, not oxygen. Therefore, row C shows an incorrect product at the anode. So the correct answer is definitely going to be C, because we're looking at which one is incorrect. Let's move on to question number 35, and it says, which row in the table shows an electrolyzed compound which did not produce hydroxide ions? Is it A, B, C, or D? We're looking at the same table. So the correct answer is definitely going to be A, because we're looking for which electrolyzed compound did not produce hydroxide ions. And it's A, because molten lead bromine contains no water. So no hydroxide ions are produced during electrolysis. So the correct answer is definitely going to be A. Let's move on to question number 36, and it says magnesium metal is made by the electrolysis of molten MgCl2. Let's read that again. Magnesium metal is made by the electrolysis of molten MgCl2. One of the half reactions is shown. So we have Mg2 plus 2 electrons, and that gives us magnesium. Which statement about electrolysis of molten MgCl2 is correct? So we're looking for the correct statement. Is it A, magnesium is made at the cathode, B, magnesium ions are oxidized, C, chloride ions are reduced at the anode, or D, chloride ions gain electrons during this process? So the correct answer is definitely going to be A, magnesium is made at the cathode, because we're looking for which statement is correct. So in molten MgCl2, magnesium 2 plus ions gain electrons, and that's going to be reduction according to our equation. So we have plus 2 electrons, so we're gaining electrons, and reduction always occurs at the cathode. So magnesium is made at the cathode because we have reduction. We have the gaining of electrons. We have plus 2 electrons here. So we gain electrons, and that's going to be reduction. And where does reduction happen? Well, reduction always occurs at the cathode. So magnesium is made at the cathode. All right, let's move on to question number 37. And it says, which pollution problem can be caused by the ammonia, NH3, produced by burning fossils? Is it acid rain, eutrophication, global warming, or depletion of the ozone layer? Well, the correct answer is definitely going to be B, eutrophication, because ammonia, NH3, contains a nitrogen, which acts as a nutrient in water bodies. When it enters rivers or lakes, it promotes excessive plant and algal growth, leading to eutrophication. So the correct answer is definitely going to be B, eutrophication. So move on to question number 38, and it says the diagram shows the structural formula of ethane. So here we have C, this is carbon, and we have hydrogen, we have hydrogen, we have hydrogen. We also have carbon here, and we have hydrogen and hydrogen and hydrogen. So so the electronic configuration of C is 2, 4, and H is 1. How many covalently bonded electrons surround each carbon in the above structure? Is it 2, is it 4, is it 6, or is it 8? The correct answer is definitely going to be 8. Now you may say, well, why 8? Well, it's 8 because each carbon in ethane forms 4 covalent bonds. So we have 1, 2, 3 CH bonds, right? 3 CH bond, and 1 C to C bond. So that's 4, right? So, and each carbon atom in ethane forms 4 covalent bonds. So you may say, well, the answer is 4. Well, not so fast. Each covalent bond contains 2 shared electrons. So each carbon is surrounded by 4 times 2. What is 4 times 2? That's going to be 8. So it's going to be 8 covalently bonded electrons. So the correct answer is definitely going to be 8. All right, let's move on to question number 39. And it says, what is the correct order of the following hydrocarbons in terms of increasing boiling points? In terms of increasing boiling points, is it propene, C3H8, methane, CH4, and ethane, C2H6? So what is correct? What is the correct order in terms of increasing boiling points? Methane, propane, ethane, ethane, methane, propane, methane, ethane, propane, or ethane, propane, methane? And the correct answer is definitely going to be C, methane, ethane, propane, because the boiling point increases with molecular size and mass, because the larger hydrocarbons have stronger intermolecular forces. So the order is going to be methane, then ethane, then propane. So the correct answer is definitely going to be C. Let's move on to question number 40, and it says, which name is given to a series of compounds that differ from each other by a fixed repeating unit? Is it heterogeneous series? Is it homologous series? Is it homogeneous series? Or is it hydrocarbon series? Well, the correct answer is definitely going to be B, homologous series. And a homologous series is a group of organic compounds where each member differs from the next by a fixed unit and has similar chemical properties. So the correct answer is definitely going to be B by definition. Let's move on to question number 41, and it says dilute acetic acid, commonly known as vinegar, is the second smallest carboxylic acid. Which choice correctly matches the correct formula and name for this acid? Is it ethanoic acid, CH3COOH? Is it B, hydrochloric acid, HCl? Is it C, methanoic acid, CHOOH? Or is it D, methanoic acid, CHO2H? Well, the correct answer is definitely going to be A, ethanoic acid, because ethanoic acid is the correct name for acetic acid. And its correct formula is what is given in the table, CH3COOH. This matches vinegar, which is the second smallest carboxylic acid after methanoic acid. So the correct answer is definitely going to be A, ethanoic acid. Let's move on to question number 42, and it says, which pair shows two elements which are liquids at room temperature and pressure? Is it bromine and mercury, chlorine and water, fluorine and silver, or oxygen and zinc? But the correct answer is definitely going to be A, bromine and mercury, because bromine and mercury are the only two elements that are liquids at room temperature and pressure. Bromine is a liquid nonmetal, and mercury is a liquid metal at room conditions. So the correct answer is definitely going to be bromine and mercury. These are liquids at room temperature and pressure. Let's move on to question number 43, and it says, which element in the periodic table has an allotrope that is capable of conducting electricity? Is it A, carbon, B, chlorine, C, oxygen, or D, sulfur? Well, the correct answer is definitely going to be A, carbon, because carbon has an allotrope called graphite that is capable of conducting electricity. In graphite, delocalized electrons are free to move between layers, allowing electrical conduction. So the correct answer is definitely going to be A, carbon. Question number 44 states, which method is used to obtain lubricating oil from crude oil? I notice questions 44 and 45 are about the refining of petroleum. So which one of these methods is used to obtain lubricating oil from crude oil? Is it centrifugation, chromatography, filtration, or fractional distillation? Which one is it? A, B, C, or D? Well, the correct answer is definitely going to be fractional distillation, because fractional distillation is used to obtain lubricating oil from crude oil. Crude oil is separated into fractions based on different boiling points, and lubricating oil is collected as a high boiling fraction during this process. So the correct answer is definitely going to be D, fractional distillation. Let's move on to question number 45, and it says, lubricating oils undergoes additional processing to obtain larger amounts of the more valuable hydrocarbons. What is the name of this process? Is it cracking, eutrophication? Is it cracking, esterification, hydrolysis, or polymerization? Again, what is the name of this process? What process are we talking about? Well, lubricating oil undergoes additional processing to obtain larger amounts of the more valuable hydrocarbons. What is the name of this process? Cracking, esterification, hydrolysis, or polymerization? Well, the correct answer is definitely going to be A, cracking, because cracking is the process to convert large, less valuable hydrocarbons, including lubricating oils, into smaller, more valuable hydrocarbons, such as petrol and alkenes. So the correct answer is definitely going to be A, cracking. Let's move on to question number 46, and it says, which compound is an unsaturated hydrocarbon? Is it ethane, ethene, ethanoic acid, or ethyl methanoate? Well, the correct answer is definitely going to be B, ethene, because ethene is unsaturated because it contains a double bond. So C, double bond C. All right, so this is because it has a double bond, it's going to be unsaturated. Let's move on to question number 47. It says Blanco Bleach is a Bahamian company. Which element is needed in large quantities by Blanco to make bleach? Is it bromine, chlorine, fluorine, or iodine? But the correct answer here is definitely going to be chlorine, because chlorine is required in large amounts because a bleach is a mainly chlorine base. And so the correct answer is definitely going to be B, chlorine. Let's move on to question number 48, and it says carbon dioxide emissions have steadily increased since the start of the industrial age. As a result, the carbon dioxide in the Earth's air has increased by approximately 20%. What are the effects of this change? Is it acid rain, global warming, both of the above, or none of the above? But the correct answer is definitely going to be B, global warming, because increased carbon dioxide strengthens the greenhouse effect, leading to global warming. Acid rain is mainly caused by sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides, not carbon dioxide. So the correct answer is definitely going to be B, global warming. Let's move on to question number 49, and it says, which ore is aluminum metal extracted from? Is it aragonite, bauxite, galena, or hematite? Again, which ore is aluminum metal extracted from? The correct answer is definitely going to be B, bauxite. Bauxite is the main ore used to extract aluminum because it contains aluminum oxides, from which aluminum metal is obtained by electrolysis after purification. So the correct answer is definitely going to be B, bauxite. And our final question is going to be question number 50, and it says iron is extracted from its ore using a blast furnace. Which form of iron is extracted from the blast furnace? Is it impure pig iron, pure liquid iron, solid iron nuggets, or stainless steel iron? But the correct answer is definitely going to be A, impure pig iron, because impure pig iron is produced in the blast furnace. It contains carbon and other impurities, so it must be further processed to make steel or pure iron. So the correct answer is definitely going to be A, impure pig iron. Okay, that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. See you soon.